In Loving Government, I was talking about hell. Why would God send people to hell? And he sent me a very interesting video about the evolution of hell and how he sent me these videos by Bishop Lazar. Correct me if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. About how hell is not this state of eternal torture like the modern fundamentalist view of it is. It's more of like a purgatory in a sense, or a temporary state of being, things like that. Um, but he didn't like say that's what he believed, and that's just another example of what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, well, this is interesting. Thank you very much. I'll certainly look into it. And I appreciate that. I'm not attacking. I'm just saying I'm hesitant to respond to that because I don't want to get into talking about it if it's not what you think. Because if it's not what you think, then to me, it's good for personal study, but I have no reason to talk to you about it because it's just that's not constructive. I want to deal with what you believe. The point of that video was that there's a reason why God punishes. It wasn't an examination on the actual nature of what hell is. You probably know more about that than I would at this present time.
The primary objective in these video responses that I sent to you in offering additional perspectives on hell was to try to figure out what you believe and not necessarily talk about what I believe, because I don't believe in hell. I don't believe in an afterlife. You see, I was trying to rather gently coax a response out of you to find out why you believe the things that you do about hell. Because in this Loving Government video, you have the arrogance to assume that your point of view is the correct one, and then come onto YouTube and preach the threat of hell to other people when you're not entirely sure of what you're talking about. And in other videos, finding out that the same thing is also being taught to teenagers. Fantastic. So rather than trying to be a little more nuanced in my approach, I'm going to be a little more direct this time, because the facile attempt at explaining eternal punishment in the Loving Government video is not sufficient. And it's not sufficient because of examples which I have already provided for you, which I will reiterate here. So basically, I'm going to have 3 questions, which I'm going to primarily address to you, but any other Christians who hold to these assumptions, I would ask the same thing. These assumptions being that 1, hell is a place of punishment. 2, heaven is a place of reward. 3, both of these states or places are eternal. The first question would be, why is it not possible for someone who is going to be rewarded with an eternal place in heaven to forego their reward in order for someone to be spared the punishment of an eternal hell? 2, given that an eternal state of punishment in hell is really an indefinite one, it's going to last indefinitely, why is it not possible for someone who is being punished forever to repent and therefore be granted leave from hell and be allowed to enter heaven because they now wish to obey this God? And 3, given the perspective of modern rabbinic Judaism. This is what utterly demolishes your loving government video, because modern Jews believe, those who believe in an afterlife, believe that when the unrighteous die, they are sent to a place of punishment, Gehinnom, and they are punished. So the purpose of this place in the afterlife is punitive, just like the traditional Christian idea. However, they're only punished for a period of up to 12 months, after which time they're considered purified and they are allowed to enter Gan Eden, the Jewish concept of heaven. So it is punitive, but it is also remedial. The Christian concept of being punished eternally is not remedial. It is only retributive. It is only exacting revenge. Please explain to me why a remedial punishment is inferior to a vengeful and purely retributive punishment. My goal here was to try to paint you into a theological corner and see if you can get out. Because up to this point, you've really been dodging the questions that I've been trying to raise. And I think that they're very important questions that you're going to need to answer for yourself before you think you can go and preach these ideas to other people as something that they should adhere to. And if you find yourself unable to answer these questions, I'm going to assume that it's because you are not able to provide an answer sufficient for someone who hasn't already bought into your particular belief system, meaning that you are willing to accept justifications and rationalizations for this doctrine, which are weaker, because you know that you are not going to be under this particular threat. So I'll be interested if you or any other Christian who believes in eternal punishment can respond to these questions.